Hello.
Hey, you guys, how are you?
How are you?
I'm great. My name is Trisha. It's so nice to meet you.
No.
I take it you're Dan and you're Andrea. Where are you guys tuning in from?
We are in Ogden, Utah.
Oh, wow.
Our office space right now. So, yeah.
So, I'll just jump right in. I saw your video. I saw your video about the construction of your daughter's rooms and that you're paralyzed from the waist down. And it was so incredibly moving. I have 4 kids of my own. I couldn't imagine raising 4 kids and also being paralyzed from the waist down. So I guess my first question is, how did you get injured?
Okay, yeah. A little over 10 and a half years ago, I was helping a friend build his house. We were just doing the rough framing of it. We were setting the trusses for the roof, the wood structures for the roof, and just standing up on the top of those, which is typical when you're building, and waiting for ones to come in. And while I was standing up there, I felt the whole roof start to just sway. And I remember I can still feel it, when I think about it. And I remember taking 2 steps back across the board, and then, like I said, oh shit, and then I don't remember anything else. Just lights out. I woke up at the hospital, find out the injuries. I had cracked my C1, where I used to hang my hammer on my tool belt.
Oh,
I landed back on that, so that exploded my L1 vertebrae.
the hammer did?
Yeah. So, and then I crushed my S2, 3, and 4, so my tailbone, and then broke my pelvis, collapsed my left lung, and tore my spleen. So,
How far was the fall?
it was about somewhere between 30 and 35 feet, roughly, and then just down to the cement concrete floor. There's so much, and you started to ask a question that a lot of people kind of inquire about, man, does that make you upset? Or if you could change that, would you? And honestly, with the direction and the path that we've been on, with our social media, for example, but our social media does it on a large scale. My answer to that is no, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible though, to say that. Because, you no longer have use of your legs, and that's, to say that you would go back and do it again, I think just shows the measure of your character. That kind of jumps through the screen. Are you generally a guy that whose glass is half full?
Probably, more on the cheery side, and try to be more positive that way.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
I think a better way to explain it would be that we're both on the side of God has a plan, and this is part of his. But we just have faith in that, and so I think it's easier to go through things and just ride the waves and know that there's a bigger plan.
Right.
So you just make most of it with God's help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you guys, you must have a big reach kind of in the community of people that have paralysis, have cerebral palsy, or, kind of in that world. Do a lot of those people reach out to you? And do you guys have a bigger community base there?
We do have a lot of people reach out to us that have a lot of people have this chronic nerve pain. So Dan has adhesive arachnoiditis, which is a crazy intense nerve pain condition.
Was that a result of the injury?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anytime you have like something puncture into your spinal cavity, or you have a break, or you have any tampering in there, it could cause this condition. So like all of his nerves are like scarred together, and then they're scarred to the side of his spinal column. So they just send crazy nerve signals.
I saw that in your videos. I can't imagine, is that an all day sporadic thing that occurs? Or
it used to be all day, like that intense. Like it was really, there was a time while we were on this journey trying to figure things out that it was almost 5 years before we were able to diagnose it, where we were dealing with the pain that was just increasing. It seemed like all the time, but
it literally looks debilitating. My husband, funny, I didn't think about this before we started the interview, but my husband, he's in construction. And, until you started talking about trusses and you were kind of explaining like what it was, I'm like, oh, I know what he talks about. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't think about this. But, sometimes he suffers from like sciatica, back pain, and it's nothing in comparison to what you go through. And I've never experienced, Andrea, have you ever experienced any type of, like beyond the pain?
No, I mean, being in labor, but no, nothing other than that. But his pain is worse than natural labor.
Yeah.
It's intense. It looks and sounds and seems worse than labor.
There's really nothing you can take to alleviate pain like that. The closest thing I had to physical pain was a C-section with 2 of my kids. And, they gave me some hydrocodone or something like that, which I took for maybe a day or 2, but doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I can't imagine. And I'm watching you kind of go through that pain, and your kids are unbelievable. I see your kids kind of throw their arms around you, and, growing up with your dad having pain, or watching your dad through their struggles. I mean, those are going to be some pretty good human beings. They are already, but they are going to be some pretty human beings in the world, with big hearts and a lot of understanding. How important is that family support in those times where, it's overwhelming?
Like it's something that brings me like focus and like an ability to like ground, like get out of the headspace of where that pain takes me. And like I just try to like pull myself like back down for like the sake of my kids, so like I'll try to like mentally and physically resist it and try to ride it back down the best I can.
Yeah.
To save face. But they've seen me through some pretty raunchy times. Like before we got on the course of different treatments, we'd be going to the grocery store and I'd have, some of those pain spasms kick in, and like I'd just be grabbing and holding onto the shelf at the grocery store, like shaking and just
Yeah.
making noise. And people would be walking by asking my kids if they need to call somebody, or they're like,
Sure.
no, they'll be done in a minute. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty incredible. But I do appreciate the human aspect of people stopping and asking if you need help. And I think that's the kind of beauty of your story, and how, just me seeing your story and us having the ability to connect on a human level, and it being so moving and inspiring. If you don't mind, I just want to, because yes, you have an injury. Yes, you're persevering through it, but to continue with your construction in the way that you do is mind blowing, like absolutely mind blowing. To have the pain that you have, to have the obstacles that you have. And I'm not saying this to make you feel better. Your work is good. Like you do, you do better work than some of the builders out here. Then, so if you don't mind, let's take a quick look at the video that I was talking about. Did that project take a big toll on your body?
yeah, anytime I'm doing like bending, lifting, and twisting stuff,
Yeah.
it like takes that pain and just feeds it. Like
Yeah.
it flares the night of, or the next day after I do a lot of work. It just
Yeah.
is one that's more intense. Like I always have, my nerve pain is always like the lowest it goes. The way that I explain it is like the lowest it ever goes, like a 3.
Yeah.
At the doctor's office doing a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
So I can still be like focused and in the room and like talking, and like it's if I'm excuse me, if I'm like just paying attention to the pain, like it really sets in on the level that it is, and it's frustrating, and it hurts or whatever, but it's just the baseline that I'm used to anymore. But when it goes like to a 4 or a 5, that's when I like start doing different measures to try to keep it back down. And then if it gets past like a 5 or a 6, I have one other medication that I can try to use to keep it from going past that. But sometimes like that
It can go to like a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swear there's more than 10 too, but
I'm sure.
it's so crazy to get like it gets to a point where it's wrenching on everything in my body, and it's like it just forces me to like become vocal and like screaming or grunting or whatever, and then it just keeps on winding up even higher and harder than that, to where it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna like turn inside out, like there's nothing left to
I think you're I think letting it out is probably a really important thing. Like letting that, like not holding that, like if you need to like yell and if you need to get that kind of out of your system, I think
Yeah.
that's a really good thing to do.
He's like bearing down and you can see
Yeah.
the vein. I'm like, you're gonna make your heart explode.
Totally. Totally.
Oh, yeah.
There's a therapeutic aspect to letting out your pain, letting out your grief, letting out your, this is clearly on a different level than that, but it has to have some sort of therapeutic release, not holding in that, that kind of pain. You know, in the video, you had sketched out the room. Do you have like architectural, are you in like good math, measuring everything out? Are you an architect also?
I'm not an architect. So like the idea that I was sketching, like Andrea like had this idea of what we wanted to build or something to build, and then like we just kept the plan mentally just kept changing. So finally we're like, all right, well, let's just draw this out. Like as far as what you were saying, like with architect or math or whatever, like I'd been building for years. So like, I mean, I've read, hundreds of blueprints. And
Totally. Just like my husband, he's not an architect, but he knows everyone else's craft. You learn it over, you learn it over time. Who picked the wallpaper?
That's so Andrea did like, yeah. So I just was like sketching and putting down the plan as Andrea was trying to express what she wanted. And then like, yeah, all the decor stuff and everything, like she's got, she started going to school for like the interior decorating and stuff. She's really good at it. Like she has people before this, like always people like wanting her to come decorate their offices or homes or whatever. She just has a real good niche at it. And
it's so crazy to have, like, I had this picture in my head, like exactly how I wanted it, what I wanted it to turn out like. And, like when you say the measurements or whatever, like when it was done, like everything is exactly how it was pictured in my head.
So
like,
cute. Are there
perfect.
3 kids in that room or 2?
3.
There's 3 girls in that room?
yeah.
Our 12-year-old, our 4-year-old, and our 3-year-old.
12, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our 12-year-old, she's with us half the time and at her mom's house half the time. So she always is getting so frustrated when she comes back home when the babies get into her stuff. We still call them the babies, but they eat her candy or they take her art stuff or whatever. And so that's where the idea for the folding stairs came in, because when she leaves, we put the stairs up.
Oh, very practical.
So now she has her own little safe haven up there that the littles can't get into. So
not yet, right?
Yeah, not yet. They'll figure. I'm sure they'll figure out how to climb up there.
Yeah, I'll have to put a lock or something on it for sure. But
it's interesting the way society is more forgiving of, someone like yourself or even someone with like mental health issues. People are just more understanding today, and you don't have to hide.
Yeah.
Or like be embarrassed about it or anything like that, which I think is a pretty incredible thing.
I think social media has been a huge part in changing that stigma, because like when Dan was injured 10.5 years ago, he was searching social media to find inspirational things from people that were in wheelchairs, using wheelchairs, and he couldn't find anything. And so that's part of why we wanted to put content out there, so that other people in his same situation could see, oh, I can still have a family, I can still drive a car, I can still build, I can still do the things I love. And
do you drive? You drive?
Yeah, he drives. He has a Corvette.
That's amazing. Is it controlled by your hands?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just
like a lever.
You pull it and it accelerates, and you push it and it brakes.
Oh, interesting. And who does that? Like, who outfits those cars? Is there a specific company that does that?
There's excuse me. There's like multiple companies that do like mobility adaptations for for people, or companies that put ramps into vans, or different things like that. Those companies generally have the connections and the means to. There's 3 or 4 different companies that make options for that. And
how old is that technology? Is it like the past 10 years? Was it around before that? Because that's fascinating to me. That's a game changer.
When I was in the hospital, my divorce finalized from my previous marriage, like the second week I was in there. So like the time I was in there, I was like focused on like, okay, when I get out, I'm like a single dad. I'm going to have to be like driving or able to get groceries, like take everything. So while I was in the hospital, like, I was like, okay, I need to drive. I need to set this up. So I set up, my occupational therapist set up to have the people from the DMV, the DL, or the driver's license division, come out and set up a car that had the hand controls in it. And you have to, do the driving test with it and go through their little learning thing. So I had to, at that point, it was like a common thing still. So that was like almost 11 years ago, but
that's is there anything that you can't do that you could do before?
I'm sure there's definitely a lot that if I like
thought about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
the beach isn't the most exciting place using a wheelchair.
Yeah. Because is there not something good that can get around in the sand?
They have you can find beaches that have like power chairs with big tires and stuff that they let you use, but like getting in the water, playing in, it's very
really challenging.
Crashed down by waves when you don't have use of your legs. It's just that's like, you haven't been like in the ocean, right? We've been to the beach several times, but you haven't been able to get in the water.
I don't really like the idea of it. Anyways, like the ocean freaked me out before, but
Same. I'm curious as to, you just have a real drive, a real ambition, a real lust for life. And I was just wondering who are your mentors? Who do you look up to? Like, what gives you inspiration? Aside from your beautiful wife.
Yeah. I mean, through my whole course of my injury, my main focus had always been my kids. Like, I think that was a driving force to just be able to not let them feel like I'm giving up on them or giving up on life. Like, understand that things are going to be more challenging, but that I can rise to that occasion, and that I'm not gonna let things discourage me or physically try to keep me out of things. Like, I try to do as much as I can to show them that you can do hard things, you can do a lot more things. Because I was one of those people that before my injury, I made comments that a lot of people would say now, like, man, if that ever happened to me, gosh, just let me die. There's no way I can.
I think we all say that.
Yeah, and that was definitely words that came out of my mouth before.
100%.
What's that?
100%. I've said that before.
And I think, and so when I've heard other people say that since my injury and in conversation, and I'm like, man, you'd be surprised at what your body, your brain, and everything is able to adapt and change. Because like that was me, and for sure, like I was, macho mentality. I was like, man, like no, go ahead and let me die. There's no way.
Well, it's interesting because you still feel that way if you think about being quadriplegic or something. It's
people,
there's always worse.
100%. I think, just to add to that, I think the human spirit is something that is fascinating. I think it's infinite. I don't think we know how capable we are until we're forced to deal with difficult situations. and obstacles, you're surely a testament of someone that can persevere, has a massive amount of inner strength. I have a lot of respect for you. It could either have made you or it could have broken you. Children really provide us with a lot of inspiration. My children have certainly made me a better person. Because of them, I stopped drinking alcohol. That was a problem in my life years ago. So they're magical little people, and they kind of put a mirror up to us and they show us who we are. And, we brought them into the world, right? So we have to try our best to, create a nice life for them, no matter what.
Yeah, you talked about how you stopped drinking for your children. I used to I'd left like religion and stuff like when I was like 17. Like I grew up with faith and in our family religion and when I got to a certain age, I was just like, man, I'm moving out. I just want I'm doing my own thing. Just bailed on everything and then. Like I did all sorts of stupid stuff for the next however many, like 20 plus years or whatever it was. I don't see. Yeah, something like that. And I'd actually, it's sort of a similar situation with what you were just saying. It got to a point, my daughter was like 6 or 7. And so we're LDS. That's I was raised LDS or Mormon.
Yeah.
And, at some point, I don't remember where she got it, but she had this paper that says I'm going to be baptized. And then it said by, and then she had dad written on there. And I was like, no, my life was like way away from anything religious. Like I was like, partying, like real like self-centered, like selfish, not like in a jerk mentality, but like I wasn't behaving.
You were lost.
Yeah. And so like, I took a look at that and I was like, man, I would die if my daughter tried to bring home a guy like me as a boyfriend or a husband down the road. There's like no freaking. I was like, man, I've got to what am I doing? Like, I've got to show her like what she deserves or what she should be looking for and like be that man and that example. So like I had started this journey back into religion and like stopped drinking and like I remember I kept a bottle of like my favorite liquor in the freezer just as like a like I don't know like for me it was like you don't need it, you have it there and you don't need it, you don't need
it's powerful
stuff and for me it was what I needed. And then it was like just like 2 or 3 months after I started this new like coming back to religion and God and is when I had this accident. And it was, I guess looking back on it, it was definitely a place that I could have either for sure just been like, okay, I'm gonna try to be good and then this is what happens and just be like
100%. How long was it between when you stopped drinking and your accident? Do you remember?
About 3 months. It wasn't
Oh, wow. That's unbelievable. I had 2 children at the time. My daughters were, I want to say like 2.5 and 1.5. Oh, maybe less. They were less. One was 6 months old and my other daughter was about a year and a half. And I remember going into the kitchen and saying to my husband, I think I'm an alcoholic because I was kind of drinking I was drinking all the time. And as soon as I said that, he just removed everything from the house. Like everything was gone. And I was like, shoot, why did I say that? Now I've got a target on my back.
Mhm.
But it took a few years. Long story short, best thing I ever did, never looked back. And it led me into, a healing aspect of my life. So it's probably been 10 years, 10 and a half years or 11 years since do you drink, Andrea, at all?
No.
No.
Oh, you don't? Is that because of Mormonism or?
Yeah, I was raised LDS as well, and I just never have. Yeah, I've always not wanted to drink. My mom's an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Oh,
So,
wow. Did your mother grow up Mormon?
no, she converted to the Mormon faith when she was in her early 20s, and
Yeah.
then she still has a lot of faith, but she's been an alcoholic addict since I was 5 years old.
That's tough.
Yeah, really abusive.
Yeah, so it's interesting that like I have never even religion aside, like I've seen what it does to families. I saw what it did to my mom, and I just never have had any interest in it. So.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I just I would never look back. Like I would never look back. I have no desire. I have no desire. I love being who I am without it. And
Right.
I just don't want to be that person again. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, anybody could do whatever they want around me. It doesn't really affect me, but it was the single like most best decision that I've ever made in my life. We're just coming up on the top of the hour, and I didn't want to leave without talking about Andrea, your skincare line. I saw, is that something that's like actively going on right now?
It's definitely been put on the back burner, but
Oh,
it's
it
still
has.
going. I mean, I just haven't been pushing it while we've been trying to grow our social media. But my hope is that through our social media, I'll be able to push it and have time to do both. But yeah, it's all organic, natural skincare. I love it. My sister actually created the product
Oh,
about,
wow.
well, I think it's been 12 or 13 years now.
Is that your last name?
What's that?
Is that your maiden name? The name of the,
No, it's called Belpo. So it's like the French word for skin is belle and beautiful. I mean, sorry,
okay.
beautiful belle, and po is skin. So it's like
Okay.
beautiful
If it
Belpo.
was French, I would have known that.
Yeah.
But,
So yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
should definitely, is it like face washes, moisturizer, that type of
they're
thing?
exfoliant that's like all natural. It's with Himalayan sea salt and activated charcoal and jojoba oil. And so it's like an exfoliant, and then I have a daily cleanser, and then an oil, like a moisturizing oil that's all natural. It's so good. You can use it on your face, or Dan uses it on his beard, which is why
yeah,
it looks so beautiful.
we're gonna do we're talking about doing like the beard and tattoo oil. It's like,
Cool. I just really want to thank you guys for your time and your generosity. I'm just going to continue to follow your journey. Dan, is construction still very much a part of your life?
yeah, it is like just construction and the handyman stuff. Like I have a really hard time like paying other people to do something that I think I can do. So like, or that I think I could do like better, or like
Totally.
like,
Totally.
it drive me crazy. And I know like, so through my years, like I worked in law enforcement, and then I built homes, and like times I was building homes, I was trying to build homes while I was in law enforcement and like hire people, and like I would go so crazy on the lack of quality. Like I've always been like, I was taught by a custom home builder that was like detail oriented on everything, and everything perfect. And so I've this mentality in it, and I curse myself even today on it on stuff. I'm like, why can't I just like cut it a 16th inch, like 16th of an inch shorter, so I know it's gonna be super tight, and I put it up there, and I'm gonna have to like bang on it and whatever. Like or I could just make it a tiny bit shorter and just like it'd go up and it's going to be the same, but it's like, I just have like this.
And
nice
then
little
he's
block.
like down on the floor, like underneath the bed, like caulking the edges. I'm like, nobody is ever going to see that. It's
Yeah, but you
fine.
know what? He knows it's there. It's in
So
his
much-
brain. So as long it's he sounds like the type of person where it'll fester.
Yeah.
So it either needs to be done the right way or it'll bother him for the rest of his life.
Just immaculate and beautiful. Man, you can, if you take a close-up look at this bunk bed he made, like you can't find
It's
a flaw.
gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you could really just see all the love and care that the both of you put into it and how happy those little girls look at the end of the video. And, what's better than a cozy, beautiful place for your kids to sleep? I mean, that's where your dreams are. So, yeah. And you guys, thank you so much for your time, for your conversation. I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. Any projects coming up?
We still have a few things that needed to be finished off. So I mentioned we did a collaboration with Home Depot where we did
Oh, you didn't?
One of the things that pulled us off of this project was this.
Oh, maybe you did when you were, you know what? It went out for a second when we were watching the video. I lost a little bit of the audio while the video was playing. So you might have mentioned it and I don't think I heard you.
Yeah, it was, we had a collaboration that we did for Home Depot where they wanted us to build something and, they sponsor it, basically pay to, advertise for them.
Oh.
It was a entertainment center wall that I built and
It has like a custom desk and cupboards and like a place for the TV and then shelving and all kinds of stuff in our master bedroom.
With your exposure, are there more opportunities coming your way?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We're finally getting to a point where like Andrea's been doing like all the groundwork on editing and posting and videos and like getting to the point now where we can like make where larger companies are wanting to approach us and have us do like a advertisement type video mentioning their product or their service and that's where people that do social media make a lot of their income.
Sure. That's awesome. I really wish you guys the best. This was an incredible conversation and onwards and upwards for the both of you. And Andrea, when your skincare line comes back up, I'm gonna definitely get some for myself. It sounds like a really nice product.
Thanks. Yeah, sounds good. You'll see when I start pushing it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. It was so nice to meet the both of you. It was a really nice conversation.